Firstly, I'm super glad we have so many joined us today. Most meetings, city council are pretty lonely for us, so we're just a handful. So I truly appreciate everybody who's joined in. And I would like to add that there has been a precedence of running public input for only a minute. It's been part of planning commission meetings, part of city council. So this is not something extraordinary that we are doing today. And this will actually help towards a good meeting. Hopefully everybody sort of understands that. Okay, so my couple questions are about specific to SB 9. And so essentially, firstly, there are quite a few new people who have joined, and I asked this question at the last meeting, and I would love to have staff provide that perspective. And so just to recap of a few areas. So my questions would be about how many units did our city build last time in the last, let's say 7 or 8 years since the last housing element? How many units did our city build? And what was the quota? I think that would be of interest to our citizens who have gathered here today. And perhaps we did not hit the number, the housing element number. So was there a penalty for not building? I'm curious on that as well. And I'm also curious if there is a penalty for not building now. If the city does not build with this new housing element, what happens with that? And then finally, my questions about SB 9. My question is, with SB 9, we know the legislation that actually kicked in on January 1st of this year. And that was a legislation that comes from Sacramento, and it allows lot splitting. And so my question to Debbie is about if SB 9 numbers have been rolled into our housing element, into the numbers that we are currently discussing. And if that's not been included, then what are we doing to include that number? Because maybe like sending out a letter to HCD or something. Are we planning to send a letter to HCD asking for the SB 9 numbers that could be included into our housing element? And finally, my question is about EIR, and I saw an email from James Lindsay about the EIR process. And the question is, a lot of folks have gathered here today. There are Part A and Part B. Part A is about housing sites, and Part B is about some of the changes that have been proposed by the Planning Commission. Now, Part A is what a lot of our input has been focused upon the housing sites. And my suggestion would be to focus on that. But really, my question is about, if we looked at adding or subtracting sites, how will that affect the EIR process? We have to get it certified this year, looks like, and we have all the way till like December to run through a process that includes the EIR kicking in at some point. And I believe there's a little bit of a pressure that our cities feeling that, okay, we need to get the EIR started. But, so the question is, if we made some changes with these particular sites, there will be a delay with the EIR process, and how does this impact the certification? So sorry, a few complicated questions, but I wanted to put that out so that this is very educational also for everybody gathered here today. So thank you for indulging me on this.